महाराज के प्रति अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना चाहूंगा कि उन्होंने मुझे अवसर प्रदान किया इस शताब्दी समारोह में भाग लेने के लिए और पुरानी स्मृतियों को उजागर करने के लिए। मेरे संन्यास जीवन के प्रारंभ में 10 वर्षों तक मैं राज्य में था, तब यहाँ जमशेदपुर आना बहुत होता था। पूज्य अमृत रूपानंद जी और वकांत महाराज और बहुत सारे थे, पर मेरा अट्रैक्शन तो रहता था पूज्य स्वामी आदिनाथानंद जी महाराज, जिनको कालिदा महाराज के नाम से हम लोग जानते हैं। वो एक बहुत बड़ा एक सुनहरा मौका रहता था। जब भी आता था तो पूज्य आदिनाथानंद जी महाराज, कालिदा महाराज माँ के शिष्य थे, माँ का वात्सल्य उनमें कूट कूट कर भरा था। तो उस समय तो मेरी प्रारंभिक अवस्था थी, सिंपल व्हाइट ड्रेस में था, ब्रह्मचारी के हिसाब में था, फिर भी जितना कि एक वीआईपी के लिए होता है उस प्रकार का अरेंजमेंट, उस प्रकार से उनका स्वागत, और सामने बैठ करके खिलाते थे और जबरदस्ती खिलाते थे, पर प्रेम से खिलाते थे। कितनी बार ये सब मुझे भी याद आ रहा है। इन सब स्मृतियों को उजागर करने के लिए भी मैं इस अवसर पर पूज्य स्वामी आदिनाथानंद जी महाराज, कालिदा महाराज एवं पूज्य विजय महाराज, जिनके नाम से यह हॉल है, उनके चरणों में विशेष प्रणाम निवेदित करता हूं। विषय बहुत सुंदर है। Between two visionaries, जी एंड दादा, जिसका कि हिंदी अनुवाद ऐसा होगा, दो दिव्य दृष्टा स्वामी विवेकानंद एवं श्री जमशेदजी दाता के बीच आकस्मिक मिलन। यह मैं अपने आप को परम सौभाग्य, मैं परम सौभाग्य समझता हूं कि जमशेदपुर में जमशेदजी दाता के बारे में बोलने का मुझे शुभ अवसर मिल रहा है। इसके पहले जमशेदजी दाता के संबंध में कई बार बोला हूं, पर आज जमशेदपुर में जमशेदजी दाता के बारे में बोलने का शुभ अवसर मिल रहा है। तो इसमें हम लोग देखते हैं क्या है, इट्स अ चांस एनकाउंटर। ये एक आकस्मिक मिलन था। आकस्मिक मिलन इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि कोई स्वामी विवेकानंद और जमशेदजी दाता ने एक दूसरे का अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं लिया था। आए थे अमेरिका शिकागो विश्व धर्म सभा में भाग लेने के लिए। यह जो शिकागो विश्व धर्म सभा जो आयोजित की गई थी, वो अमेरिका में कोलंबस ने 400 वर्ष पूर्व, उस समय के 400 वर्ष पूर्व अमेरिका की खोज की थी। उसके भाग के रूप में 400 वर्ष के समारोह के उपलक्ष्य में बहुत सारे कार्यक्रम थे, जिसमें एक बहुत बड़ा एक्सपोजिशन था, इंडस्ट्रियल एक्सपोजिशन और दूसरे प्रकार के एक्सपोजिशन। तो जमशेदजी दाता जा रहे थे वो इंडस्ट्रियल एक्सपोजिशन देखने के लिए, जानकारी लेने के लिए। शायद विश्व के कोई भी बहुत बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन, बड़े बड़े इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट सभी जा रहे थे, क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा वो एक्सपोजिशन था, जिसको देखने के लिए 1 साल लग जाता था पूरा का पूरा दिखना। तो ये उसी समारोह के भाग के रूप में वर्ल्ड पार्लियामेंट रिलीजन का भी आयोजन हुआ था। तो कह सकते हैं कि कोलंबस के 400 वर्ष की अमेरिका की खोज के अवसर पर जो कार्यक्रम थे उसमें दोनों जा रहे थे। और जहां पर ये लोग मिले वो है एसएस एम्प्रेस ऑफ इंडिया नाम के जहाज में। ये जहाज 14 जुलाई को योकोहामा से निकला। 14 जुलाई 1893, 14 जुलाई 1893 को योकोहामा से वह निकला और 25 जुलाई वैंकूवर माने कनाडा पहुंचा। स्वामी विवेकानंद पहले वैंकूवर गए, वहां से फिर वो ट्रेन के द्वारा शिकागो गए। तो आप सोचिए कि उसमें तो टोटल 770 पैसेंजर्स थे टोटल 770 पैसेंजर्स, जिसमें 120 फर्स्ट क्लास के थे और 50 सेकंड क्लास के थे, 600 स्टीयरेज के थे, टोटल 770 पैसेंजर्स। इतने पैसेंजर्स में स्वामी विवेकानंद का जमशेदजी ताता के साथ कैसे मिलन हुआ? तो जमशेदजी ताता तो बहुत बड़े बिजनेसमैन थे, उसी समय भारत के बहुत ख्यातनाम बिजनेसमैन थे और 2 क्लॉथ मिल भी उन्होंने उस समय चला के रखी थी, तो इसलिए उनके साथ एक सर्वेंट था, तो नेचुरली वो तो फर्स्ट क्लास में ट्रैवल करेंगे। पर स्वामी विवेकानंद की जो मद्रास के आलासिंगा पेरुमल और अन्य युवकों ने चंदा इकट्ठा करके जो की थी, वो सेकंड क्लास के शिष्य थे। उनको जब पता पड़ा, जगमोहन लाल जी को भेजा मुंबई और कहा कि नहीं, सेकंड क्लास की टिकट फर्स्ट क्लास कराओ। स्वामी विवेकानंद का मैं सन्यासी हूँ, मैं सेकंड क्लास में जाऊंगा। बोले नहीं, भले आप सन्यासी हो और राजा के गुरु हो, तो राजा के गुरु का राजा का अपमान होगा कि आप सेकंड क्लास में जाएंगे। तो अब सोचिए, क्योंकि स्वामी विवेकानंद फर्स्ट क्लास की टिकट में थे, इसलिए जब के साथ एनकाउंटर हुआ, ये मिलन हुआ, नहीं तो नहीं होता। 717 कहां से मिली? पर ये बात अलग है कि दोनों एक ही होटल में ठहरे थे, ओरिएंटल होटल में जमशेदजी ताता बहुत दिन तक रहे थे। जब जापान की भी वो स्टडी करने के लिए आए थे, वहां के इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट्स को देखने के लिए। उसके कुछ दिनों बाद स्वामी विवेकानंद भी, उन्होंने भी वहीं चेक इन किया, पर वहां पर कुछ बातचीत हुई कि नहीं, उसका कोई प्रमाण हमारे पास नहीं है। तो ये जो चांस, जो एनकाउंटर है, जो आकस्मिक जो मिलन हुआ, ये एक ऐतिहासिक मिलन है, जिसका अभी हम लोग शायद पूरा का पूरा महत्व समझ नहीं पा रहे, परंतु बाद में हम लोग को उसकी जानकारी मिलेगी। तो ये जो चांस मीटिंग हुई, उसमें क्या क्या बातचीत हुई हमको मालूम नहीं है, परंतु एक पत्र है जो जमशेदजी ताता ने लिखा था स्वामी विवेकानंद को। यह जो स्वामी विवेकानंद का पत्र है, उसमें हमको बहुत सारी जानकारी मिलती है। हमको उसके बारे में इंगित होता है क्या क्या बातचीत उन्होंने की होगी। तो उसमें 23 नवंबर 1898 को मुंबई से श्री जमशेदजी ताता लिख रहे हैं पत्र स्वामी विवेकानंद को। अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण पत्र, और यही हमारा एकमात्र प्रमाण है अभी कि उनके बीच इनकाउंटर हुआ था, ये भी प्रमाण, और क्या क्या बातचीत हुई थी, बाकी और कुछ जानकारी नहीं मिलती। जमशेदजी ताता का जीवन चरित्र लिखा है श्री लाला साहब ने, BL लाला। तो उनको मैं मिलने मुंबई गया था, उनको भी मैंने पूछा कि ताता की आर्काइव्स में कुछ ऐसी एक्स्ट्रा जानकारी है क्या, और बोलो कि नहीं, हमारे पास कोई जानकारी नहीं, बल्कि आप जो मुझे जानकारी दे रहे वो भी हमारे पास नहीं थी। हमारे पास केवल ये पत्र था जमशेदजी ताता का। उसके बाद में मैंने और भी बहुत सारी जानकारी दी, बोले ये तो हमारी नहीं है, फिर उन्होंने अपनी बायोग्राफी में डाल दिया। परंतु दूसरा, वो जो बातचीत के बारे में वहां पर कोई जानकारी नहीं है। तो इसलिए ये पत्र बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि इसमें जो जानकारी है, यही हमारे पास ऐतिहासिक जानकारी है। तो क्या कहते हैं स्वामी विवेकानंद को जमशेदजी ताता? प्रिय स्वामी विवेकानंद। देखिए, डियर स्वामी विवेकानंद, मतलब उनका एक रिश्ता बन गया था। 11 दिन तक जब थे, रिश्ता बन गया था, नहीं तो डियर स्वामी विवेकानंद नहीं लिखेंगे, प्रिय स्वामी विवेकानंद। आशा है आपको जापान से शिकागो तक के अपने इस सहयात्री की याद होगी। जमशेदजी ताता लिख रहे हैं कि आपको शायद याद होगी। क्यों ऐसा लिख रहे हैं? क्योंकि 11 दिन तो साथ में थे, बात अलग है, पर उस समय स्वामी विवेकानंद अननोन मॉन्क थे, वो विश्व प्रसिद्ध नहीं हुए थे। बाद में अमेरिका जाकर के शिकागो विश्व सभा में अपने ऐतिहासिक भाषण देकर के वो विश्व प्रसिद्ध हो गए। उसके बाद से 3.5 वर्षों तक वहां पर अमेरिका में रहे, यूरोप में रहे, और जब 1897 में जो भारत लौटे तो उनका ऐसा ही स्वागत हुआ जैसा एक विश्व विजयी का होता है। उस समय युवकों के हीरो थे स्वामी विवेकानंद। तो जमशेदजी ताता को लगा कि इसके बाद तो 4 साल के भीतर में तो कितने लोगों को स्वामी विवेकानंद मिले हैं, स्वामी विवेकानंद को कितने लोग मिले हैं, कितने स्वामी विवेकानंद तो कहां से कहां ऊपर चले गए, तो शायद अब मुझे याद करते हैं कि नहीं, या मुझे याद है कि नहीं मेरे बारे में। इसलिए कहते हैं शायद आशा है आपको जापान से शिकागो तक की अपनी इस सहयात्री की याद होगी। आपके वे विचार मुझे अब विशेष रूप से स्मरण हो रहे हैं कि भारतवर्ष में त्याग तपस्या का जो आदर्श पुनः जागृत हो रहा है, हमारा उद्देश्य उसे नष्ट करना नहीं बल्कि उसे रचनात्मक पथों पर परिचालित करने की विशेष आवश्यकता है। ये जो स्वामी विवेकानंद ने कहा था कि एक ऐसी धारणा है कि ये सन्यासी युग से क्या होगा, ये सन्यासी ठीक नहीं समाज के लिए, पर उसकी भी जो त्याग तपस्या है उसको भी एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव चैनल में उसको प्रोवाइड करना, इसके बारे में स्वामी विवेकानंद ने जरूर कहा होगा। और स्वामी विवेकानंद के कई पत्रों से, कई उनके वार्तालापों से हमें प्रतीत होता है। आज सुबह भी प्रेसिडेंट महाराज ने जो मैसेज दिया उसमें भी लिखा है, व्हाट वी वांट इज साइंस कपल्ड विद वेदांत, मॉडर्न साइंस कपल्ड विद वेदांत। हमें आधुनिक विज्ञान भी चाहिए, वेदांत भी चाहिए। ये स्वामी विवेकानंद का मुख्य संदेश था। यही जमशेदजी ताता को बोला होगा कि वेदांत को समर्पित जो सन्यासी हैं, उनकी जो एनर्जी है वो रचनात्मक कार्य में लगे, उसके लिए वो प्रयत्नशील हैं। और रामकृष्ण मठ भी उन्होंने किया, उसके बाद भी इंडस्ट्रियल स्कूल के खोलने के बारे में उन्होंने कितनी तत्परता बताई, साइंस के विषय को लेने के बारे में बताई, सब हम जानते हैं। तो जमशेदजी ताता निश्चय ही बहुत प्रभावित हुए कि एक नए मॉडर्न मॉन्क दिख रहा है, वो ट्रेडिशनल टाइप का एक परंपरागत एक कोई साधु नहीं है। साधु होने के बावजूद भी वो मॉडर्न साइंस की बात करता है, टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करता है। तो इससे जरूर प्रभावित हुए आज जमशेदजी ताता, और कहते हैं आज मुझे ये सब स्मरण हो रहा है कि आपने उस समय जो कहा था, इसलिए स्मरण हो रहा है। क्यों? अपने विज्ञान शोध संस्थान के संदर्भ में ही मैं आपके विचारों को स्मरण कर रहा हूँ। क्यों? हम जानते हैं कि इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस जो प्रारंभ हुई बैंगलोर में 1909 में, उसके बैकग्राउंड में यही है कि जमशेदजी ताता का वो ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट था। उन्होंने इसके लिए अथक प्रयत्न किया था, और ये प्रयत्न करने के लिए उन्होंने उस समय के जमाने में 30 लाख रुपया बहुत होता था। 30 लाख रुपया उन्होंने प्रॉमिस किया था, मैं 30 लाख रुपया इस संस्था को प्रारंभ करने में दूंगा, और बाकी के पैसे वो चाहते थे कि सरकार की तरफ से आएंगे और पब्लिक की तरफ से आएंगे। परंतु अनफॉर्चुनेटली सरकार ने बिल्कुल कड़ा रुख अपनाया, बिल्कुल ही कोई सपोर्ट नहीं दिया। और वो था भी, जो इसका कारण ये था कि ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट चाहती थी किस प्रकार की शिक्षा हो कि यहाँ पर क्लर्क निकले बस, जो हमारा काम करते रहे। पर उनमें साइंटिफिक टेम्पर आया, टेक्नोलॉजी में डेवलपमेंट हो जाए, भारत के लोग हमसे आगे बढ़ जाए, वो कभी नहीं चाहते थे। इसलिए वो शिक्षा, हमारी ये शिक्षा जो थी साइंटिफिक टेम्पर वाली, उसके विरुद्ध में वो थे। उन्होंने कोई सपोर्ट नहीं दिया। तब जाकर के स्वामी विवेकानंद जी को जमशेदजी ताता ने कहा कि ये स्वामी विवेकानंद ही एक ऐसे हैं जो सारे देश को गैल्वेनाइज कर सकते हैं, सारे देश को प्रेरित कर सकते हैं। और ब्रिटिश सरकार ने दो बड़ा एक उसमें रोड़ा लटकाया कि आपको इतने सारे विद्यार्थी कहां से मिलेंगे इस हायर एजुकेशन के लिए, उसके भी उन्होंने शंका व्यक्त की थी। और दूसरा उन्होंने शंका व्यक्त की थी कि पैसा कहां से आएगा, क्योंकि टोटल जो 30 लाख था 1/3 था, बाकी 2/3 कहां से आएगा। तो जब सरकार से नहीं आया तो बाकी लोगों से जब लेने की बात आई, तो जमशेदजी ताता ने सोचा कि स्वामी विवेकानंद की सहायता लेनी पड़ेगी। इसलिए कहते हैं अपने विज्ञान शोध संस्थान के संदर्भ में ही मैं आपके इन विचारों का स्मरण कर रहा हूँ, जिसके बारे में आपने अवश्य सुना था या पढ़ा होगा। मेरी राय में यदि ऐसे आश्रमों या आवास गृहों की स्थापना की जाए जहाँ की त्याग व्रत धारण करने वाले सादा जीवन बिताते हुए भौतिक व मानवीय विज्ञानों की चर्चा में अपना जीवन उत्सर्ग कर दें, तो त्याग भावना की इससे अच्छी उपयोगिता संभव नहीं है। स्वामी विवेकानंद के विचारों से पूरी तरह जमशेदजी ताता सम्मत हो गए हैं, और वे इसके लिए तत्पर हो गए हैं कि इस जो सन्यासियों की ये जो त्याग तपस्या को ये रचनात्मक दिशा में उसको मोड़ दिया जाए। उसके बाद में जमशेदजी ताता लिखते हैं, मुझे लगता है इस तरह के धर्म युद्ध का उत्तरदायित्व यदि कोई योग्य नेता उठा ले तो इससे धर्म व विज्ञान दोनों की ही प्रगति होगी तथा हमारे देश की कीर्ति भी फैलेगी। 3 चीजें उन्होंने बताई। धर्म विज्ञान। और ये आश्चर्य की बात है कि स्वामी विवेकानंद भी यही चाहते थे कि धर्म की भी उन्नति हो, विज्ञान की भी उन्नति हो, दोनों एक दूसरे की तरह नहीं रह सकते हैं। ये बात जमशेदजी ताता भी बोल रहे हैं कि यदि ऐसा कुछ होगा तो ये उत्तरदायित्व यदि कोई ऐसा अच्छा व्यक्ति लेगा तो धर्म की भी उन्नति होगी, विज्ञान की भी उन्नति होगी। और तीसरा बता रहे हैं कि हमारे देश की कीर्ति भी फैलेगी। दोनों देखिए, एक थे बिजनेसमैन जमशेदजी ताता, कहां एक बिजनेसमैन और कहां उनसे दुगनी उम्र वाले प्रयाग, और इधर स्वामी विवेकानंद मात्र 30 वर्ष के नवयुवक और सन्यासी, जिनको बाह्य सांसारिक वस्तु से कोई लेना देना नहीं, परंतु कॉमन यही था, दोनों धर्म में विज्ञान के सामंजस्य में मानते थे और दोनों अपना देश हमारा महान बने, आर्थिक रूप से महान बने भारत, और भारत सभी प्रकार से आगे बढ़े। और वो जो आगे बढ़े,
अग्निमय वाणी से एक पुस्तिका लिख सकते हैं जिसके प्रकाशन का व्यवहार मैं सहर्ष स्वीकार करूंगा। तो जमशेदजी ताता रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं, अनुरोध करते हैं स्वामी विवेकानंद को, एक छोटी सी पुस्तिका निकालिए और उसमें आप अपनी अग्निमय वाणी देखिए। स्वामी विवेकानंद के जो प्रवचन थे अग्निमय थे, पर जमशेदजी ताता को इसका समाचार मिला है कि भारत में किस प्रकार से अग्निमय भाषण देते थे। बोले आपकी अग्निमय वाणी में, आप अग्निमय भाषा में आप ये पुस्तिका लिखिए, सारा देश जागृत हो जाएगा। और यही हुआ। इसके बाद में क्या हुआ, इस लिखते हैं, जिसके प्रकाशन का व्यवहार में सहर्ष करूंगा, सम्मान आपका विश्वस्त JN। ये है पूरा पत्र। तो ये पत्र क्यों लिखा था स्वामी विवेकानंद को जमशेदजी ताता ने? जैसा मैंने बताया था, 1898 सितंबर में जमशेदजी ताता ने जब ये डिक्लेयर किया कि एक इस प्रकार की साइंटिफिक यूनिवर्सिटी स्थापित करने के लिए मैं 30 लाख का अनुदान मैं डिक्लेयर करता हूं, तो सारे देश में तहलका मच गया। टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया वगैरह कई समाचार पत्रों ने विशेष लेख लिखे और उन्होंने कहा कि ये उसके लिए मानो एक नई लहर आ गई। परंतु उसके बाद में भी जब सरकार का ठंडा रुख था, कोई भी प्रकार का सपोर्ट नहीं दिया और इस स्कीम को उन्होंने रिजेक्ट करने के सभी प्रयत्न किए, तब जमशेदजी ताता निराश हो गए। तब उनको लगा कि एकमात्र तिनके का सहारा है स्वामी विवेकानंद, क्योंकि उनका अब इन्फ्लुएंस पूरे देश में इतना अधिक है, तो उनका सपोर्ट मिलेगा तो हमारी यह जो स्कीम है वो सफल होगी। और ये उन्होंने जो किया वो बिल्कुल ठीक ही रहा, क्योंकि बाद में क्या हुआ हम क्या देखते हैं। जब ये पत्र लिखा उसके बाद में स्वामी विवेकानंद ने कोई पत्र उसका उत्तर दिया हो, उसका कोई प्रमाण नहीं है। जैसा मैंने बताया था कि मैं उनसे मिस्टर लाला को मिला जो उनके लेखक, बोले नहीं हमारे पास कोई स्वामी विवेकानंद का कोई पत्र उत्तर नहीं है। और शायद इसीलिए जनवरी 1899 में 2 माह के बाद ये जमशेदजी ताता ने उनके निकट के सहयोगी थे श्री बरजोर जी पातशाह, उनको स्वामी विवेकानंद को मिलने के लिए बेलूर मठ भेजा और वहाँ पर उन्होंने फिर से कहा कि इसमें हमको सहायता चाहिए। और फिर हम देखते हैं प्रबुद्ध भारत अप्रैल के 1899 के अंक में संपादकीय प्रबंध लिखा गया। मोस्ट प्रॉबली संभवतः यह लेख सिस्टर निवेदिता ने लिखा होगा, क्योंकि स्वामी विवेकानंद ने पातशाह के साथ सिस्टर निवेदिता का मिलन करा दिया। उन्होंने कहा सिस्टर निवेदिता अभी इस कार्य को आगे बढ़ाएगी, और सिस्टर निवेदिता ने अपना जी जान से इसके लिए प्रयत्न किया कि इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस इसकी प्रारंभ हो। तो प्रबुद्ध भारत संपादकीय ने क्या लिखा, आधुनिक भारत में सारे देश के लिए इतनी कल्याणकारी योजना अभी तक देखने में नहीं आई है। अतः सभी देशवासियों का कर्तव्य है कि वे अपने जाति भाव और संप्रदायगत स्वार्थों से ऊपर उठकर अपने उसको सफल बनाने में अपना योगदान दे दें। ये प्रबुद्ध भारत के एडिटोरियल में ऐसा लिखा गया, स्वामी विवेकानंद के कहने पर ही होगा। और सिस्टर निवेदिता उसके लिए जी जान से जुट गई और बीच बीच में स्वामी विवेकानंद को उसका रिपोर्ट देती रही। लॉर्ड कर्जन इस योजना के विरोधी थी, जैसा मैंने बताया, पर मिसेस ओली बुल, मिस मैक्लाउड, उन्होंने अमेरिका में और बाद में ये सिस्टर निवेदिता क्योंकि ब्रिटिश थी, इसलिए ब्रिटिश वहाँ पर इंग्लैंड में उसके सामने उसके लिए बहुत प्रयत्न किए। उसके कारण ही इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस का प्रारंभ बाद में 1909 में हो चुका था। उसके पहले 1902 में स्वामी विवेकानंद ने महासमाधि ली। 1904 में जमशेदजी ताता चले गए, पर उनका ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट 1909 में अवश्य हुआ। उसके लिए ये स्वामी विवेकानंद और सिस्टर निवेदिता को जितना यह उनके प्रति कृतज्ञता दिखाई जाए उतनी कम है। मिस मैक्लाउड को स्वामी विवेकानंद ने 17 फरवरी 1901 को एक पत्र लिखा था बेलूमठ से। मुझे प्रसन्नता है कि तुम श्री ताता जी से मिलने गई थी। तुम्हें वे दृढ़ और भले मानुष प्रतीत हुए हैं, ये जानकर खुशी हुई। यदि मैंने अपने आप को काफ़ी सशक्त अनुभव किया, अवश्य बम्बई आने का निमंत्रण मैं स्वीकार करूंगा। तो जमशेदजी ताता ने स्वामी विवेकानंद को निमंत्रण दिया था कि आप बम्बई आइए, और उसे मिलने के लिए बहुत वे आतुर थे, पर स्वामी विवेकानंद जा नहीं पाए थे स्वास्थ्य के अपने बुरे स्वास्थ्य के कारण। पर मिस मैक्लाउड को उन्होंने लिखा था कि मैं अवश्य आऊँगा जमशेदजी ताता से मिलने के लिए, और जमशेदजी ताता से मिलकर मिस मैक्लाउड भी प्रसन्न हुई थी। इस प्रकार से हम देखते हैं कि स्वामी विवेकानंद के प्रयत्नों के कारण ही शायद संभवतः ये जो मैसूर स्टेट ने बाद में 371 एकड़ 371 एकड़ लैंड दी, जमीन दी बेंगलोर के पास, और बाद 5 लाख रुपया भी उसके लिए दिया। ये सब भी हो सकता है इनडायरेक्टली स्वामी विवेकानंद जो पत्र लिखा था, जो मैसूर के महाराजा चामराजन वडियार को भाई जो लिखा था पत्र 23 जून 1894 को स्वामी विवेकानंद ने लिखा था, माय डियर नोबल प्रिंस, दिस लाइफ इज शॉर्ट, द वेनिटीज ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड आर ट्रांजिएंट, इन दिस शॉर्ट लाइफ दे अलोन लिव हु लिव फॉर अदर्स, द रेस्ट आर मोर डेड देन अलाइव। और वह पत्र महारानी ने जरूर देखा होगा, क्योंकि जब कार्य चल रहा था 1894 में, देखिए स्वामी जी ने कहा ये जीवन क्षणभंगुर है, कहा जून महीने में, और दिसंबर महीने में 1894 को ये चाम राजेंद्र वाडियार इनकी 10th जो थे उनकी डेथ भी हो गई, बताया था उन्होंने। बाद में शंकरी प्रसाद बसु ने विवेकानंद निवेदिता एंड टाटाज रिसर्च में बहुत सारी जानकारी दी है, उसके बारे में बोलने का समय नहीं है, मेरा समय अभी पूरा हो रहा है। अंत में प्रबुद्ध भारत में जमशेदजी ताता के निधन के बाद जो रिमार्क्स दिए थे, उस रिमार्क्स को पढ़ करके मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम दूंगा। प्रबुद्ध भारत ने 1904 में लिखा था, द मेकिंग ऑफ ए प्रॉस्परस नेशन डिपेंड्स ऑन क्वालिटीज ऑफ द हेड एंड हार्ट लाइक दोज पजेस्ड बाय मिस्टर ताता, जमशेदजी ताता, कि देश का जो विकास है, देश की प्रगति है, वो जमशेदजी ताता जैसे व्यक्तियों पर निर्भर है। ए फ्यू मोर तातास कुड चेंज द फेस ऑफ इंडिया, और कुछ ऐसे ताता है तो सारा देश बदल जाएगा, ऐसा प्रबुद्ध भारत ने लिखा था। जमशेदजी ताता के प्रति अपनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हुए स्वामी विवेकानंद और सिस्टर निवेदिता, जिन्होंने इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस जो जमशेदजी ताता का जो ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट था उसको परिपूर्ण करने में जो भूमिका निभाई थी, उसके लिए उनके प्रति भी श्रद्धांजलि देते हुए भगवान श्री रामकृष्ण देव, माँ शारदा देवी, स्वामी विवेकानंद के चरणों में प्रणाम करते हुए हमारे माननीय हमारे पूज्य जनरल सेक्रेटरी महाराज सुवीरानंद जी महाराज के चरणों में प्रणाम करते हुए और स्वामी अमृतरूपानंद जी महाराज को पुनः धन्यवाद देते हुए उनके चरणों में प्रणाम करते हुए आप सभी जो यहाँ बैठे हैं सन्यासी और भक्तवृंद, उनके भीतर में जो दिव्य चेतना विराजमान है उसको प्रणाम करते हुए मेरी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
We just heard the talk by revered Swami Nikhileshwaranji Maharaj on a chance encounter between two visionaries, Swami Vivekananda and Jamshedji N. Tata. Our second speaker is revered Swami Shantatmanji Maharaj, Secretary, Ramakrishna Mission, Gurugram, Haryana. Maharaj will also speak on the same subject in English.
ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोश्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Revered Swami Suvirananji Maharaj, Revered Swami Amrit Rupananji, Revered Swami Nikhileshwaranji, other revered monks present here, and the friends, devotees and admirers of the Ramakrishna Mission. Whatever Swamiji did was always remarkable, outstanding, and had far-reaching consequences. On the 31st of May 1893, Swamiji set sail for America to participate in the World Parliament of Religions. During the last lap of the journey of 11 days, he boarded the ship SS Empress, and that was to sail from Japan to Vancouver. In that Empress ship, he was a cabin passenger, thanks to the Raja of Khetri. And there he met Jamshedji Nasirwanji Tata. Tata was a well-established merchant in India. He had traveled all over the world. And again, he was traveling because he wanted to expand business. Incidentally, in 1897 itself, Tataji's contribution to our nation is enormous, immeasurable, you can say. In 1877, he had set up a factory in Nagpur called Express Mill. Even before government had introduced norms, etc., he had introduced a system of provident fund, 8 hours working time for the laborers, accident compensation, etc. So obviously, he was an extraordinary industrialist. So Tata was then, when he met Swamiji, was 54 years old, and Swamiji was a young monk of 30 years. So obviously, it was a very unique meeting. There, they discussed probably various topics, and the real crux of it is, Swamiji wanted Jamshedji to not only just trade, but really go for industrialization. He said how that would bring value addition to the products, lead to job creation, increase the wealth of the country, make it self-sufficient, and so on. So he really advised him that he should rather go for industrialization rather than just trading. He also talked to him about the need for technical education in India, how it's possible to really develop the country by giving them technical education. Obviously, Jamshedji listened to all that, and then both of them went their own way. 5 years later, by the time Swamiji was a world-renowned monk, he had gone and participated in the World Parliament of Religions, where he virtually, he was the star speaker, and then every session of his was so well attended, and so on and so forth. Finally, he was a world-renowned figure. in 1897, as Maharaj also said, he came back to India. In the middle of 1898, probably July, Jamshedpur openly announced that he is going to set up, with a corpus of 30 lakhs, by donating his properties in Mumbai. The annual income was 200,000 pounds is what he had pledged, equivalent to 20 lakhs in those days. And the annual interest from this endowment would be 1.25 lakhs to set up a postgraduate research institution. Essentially, he wanted the research to be done on the tropical diseases or tropical chemistry, and also our own history, etc. It was a combination of science and humanities. This is what he really wanted to set up. For this purpose, he sent his executive, B.J. Badshaw, to America, to study similar institutions, and also set up a committee to submit a proper proposal to the then Viceroy, Lord Curzon. But even before submitting the proposal, which he did in December 1898, on the 23rd of November 1898, he wrote to Swamiji, because about that letter Nikshwanji dealt with in great detail. Essentially, Jamshedpur also was in agreement with Swamiji's ideas that the ascetic spirit of India should not be allowed to go waste. It should be channelized on productive lines. In fact, this is one of the extraordinary contribution of the Ramakrishna movement itself, how the all-renouncing monks can really contribute enormously to the welfare of the society through active participation rather than staying away from the society. That's why we see the large number of educational, medical and numerous other institutions which the mission and the Mutt have established today. So he was also of that view. That's why he said that supposing youngsters with the spirit of renunciation, who are ready to live a very frugal life where their basic necessities of life would be met, such renunciates living in halls or in monasteries, supposing if they indulge in this type of a research, what an enormous benefit would accrue to the country. This was the theme of Jamshedji's letter. And he said, obviously, he could not think of a better leader for such a project than Swami Vivekananda, whom he had met in the ship Empress. So naturally, he recalled that meeting and wrote a detailed letter. That was, even before he submitted the proposal. But, by that time, Swamiji was extremely busy. He was working out the details of a new monastic order with the twin ideals of Atmanam Mokshartham Jagathitaya, where, he said, my monks would this moment dive deep into meditation and the next moment go and sell the produce in the market. A new kind of a monastic ideal, a new monastic order he was trying to establish. The same ascetic spirit, but with an extreme sense of participation. Of course, he was an extraordinary genius, and he knew he was racing against time. He didn't have much time, he knew. He was in a great hurry. And he was constantly dealing with people who were probably 500 years behind him in terms of their thoughts and ideas and so on and so forth. In fact, this is one of the reasons why our country is where we are today. Because we have hardly understood much of Swami Vivekananda, and it would take probably centuries for us to really understand and put into practice what all he had advised for this nation. Although Jamshedji submitted the proposal to Lord Curzon in December 1898, he did not receive any encouragement. Lord Curzon was extremely negative about the whole project. He said, I don't think you will get enough students. And on a later occasion, when Nivedita approached some of the people in London, probably someone deeply connected with education in the British government, the person also, even the few universities that you have you been able to produce an original mind? What are you talking about establishing another postgraduate institute? So obviously, Carson simply turned down the whole proposal. He said this is impractical, this will not work out. He also said that what would they do after studying here? What about the job prospects? So in all these accounts, Lord Curzon was not willing to consider this proposal at all. But then he received tremendous support from Swamiji, because as again mentioned by Nikhilesh Puranji, in the April 1898 Prabhupada Bharat, a beautiful write-up, as he said, editorial came up, where Swamiji had clearly said, one cannot think of a more opportune and far-reaching proposition than what Jamshedji had proposed. And then this should be taken up by the whole nation without any idea of caste, creed, etc., and make it a success. Not only that, on 2 more occasions also such writings appeared in the Prabhupada Bharat in support of this beautiful research institute. Because as Nikhilesh said, this is... then what happened? But although Lord Curzon turned the proposal down, that B.J. Badshaw, who was kind of authorized by Tata Jamshedji to deal with this project, he did not give up. He intensified the efforts, in fact much more after the passing away of Jamshedji, who passed away in 1904, and after which a very beautiful memorial, a beautiful write-up in praise of him appeared in the Prabhupada Bharat, where it was said that one of the good patriots of India industry. It's what he was referred to in this Prabhupada Bharat, in that tribute, the first captain of Indian industry. So this Pasha, he intensified the efforts, but because of Swamiji, written by Nivedita herself, she again wrote something similar from London. She used all her influence in US, UK, etc., contacted all of them. And then, in this venture, she also got the support of Ole Bull and Josephine MacLeod. Soon, it became a kind of a movement. It was not just a simple proposal given by an industrialist. It became a huge movement, and the British government could not really resist the onslaught of such a movement. So then, naturally, what most of the governments do, they set up a committee, again another committee, they set up repeated review meetings. But finally, the successor of Lord Curzon, Lord Minto, he gave the approval by, a vesting order dated 27/5/1909, 11 years after Jamshedji's, the date of first proposal, it was finally approved, and that is how the Indian Institute of Science came into existence. Because Jamshedji had desired that the institute should come up in Mumbai, that is, it was in Bombay, but then it was shifted to Bangalore because the son of the Krishnaraj Vadiyar was the son of Chamaraj Vadiyar, a disciple of Swamiji, was very close to Swamiji. He donated 370 acres of land for setting up this institute, and obviously the Indian Institute of Science was shifted there. But then there were other changes, because Jamshedji wanted research both science and humanities, but then it became only a research institute for science, essentially. So obviously it is the first such venture, a pioneering movement, you can say, which gave rise to several other Institute of Science type of institutions, and also we have today the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research and many other such institutions. So it took a long time, but then the contribution of Swamiji, and also because of him, the other disciples like Nivedita and then Miss MacLeod and others, obviously even the contribution of the Krishnaraj Vadiyar, probably through the influence of his father, who was very close to Swamiji. All this clearly prove that what an extraordinary contribution Swamiji and his disciples had made for bringing into existence the first major science research institution in our country. That's why, we were, at the beginning itself, that's what we were referring to. Whatever he did was always extraordinary, monumental. In a short span of 5 years after his return from the West, he virtually kind of remodeled India and gave a new dimension to the nation itself. In so many, if you see Swamiji's work, it's every important aspect or segment of the society, his thoughts, his messages have covered. Whether it is empowering women or it is the empowerment of youth. We talk so much in our country, the constant discussion about Dalits, how to uplift them and all that. Long ago, Swamiji had clearly said that they should be given the priority, what facilities should be given to them. Only thing is, his methodology was quite different. He was not for pulling down people, or he was always for uplifting, raising them up, so that they come to that level, desired level, and then they enjoy the facilities. Not that whatever be it, still give them concession. That was not his idea. But then, it was a very different type of empowerment that he was talking about. So, in today, if you see, whether even there are a lot of articles and other writings are appearing about Swamiji's economic views, about trade and commerce. Of course, science, though, we really saw how it happened. So, he was actually a genius who was far ahead of his time, several centuries ahead of his time. And then, if you think about this also, this meeting, would you really call it a chance meeting? I think that's the point we should probably debate or deliberate, because whatever Swamiji did was all through a divine dispensation. There was a greater plan, there was a cosmic idea, clear divine intervention in whatever he did. Even if you see that, his first meeting with Sri Ramakrishna, yes, he was, Ramchandra was searching for a singer because somebody was coming, and that's how he just went. So he was a very good singer, that's how he met Sri Ramakrishna. Would you call it a chance meeting? How that meeting has completely changed the topography, the landscape, the spirituality in our country itself. Similarly, even he is going to Chicago, a person who had never even got up and spoken from any platform, suddenly, setting sail to America. Everything was very strange. He went and landed there several months before time. We didn't know where to stay. He didn't have money. He didn't have money, even proper clothes for winter, etc. Still he finally... So everything, nothing can be really called a chance in Swamiji's life, because everything, there was a very clear divine aspect, a divine dispensation. That's why, he was, whatever he did, for example, even this setting up of this science institution, it has resulted in ushering in a new dimension in our national consciousness, so to say. So everything, so probably, his meeting with Jamshedpur Tata, for the normal eyes, for the normal onlookers, for ordinary, of course, if you consider it from an existential point of view or from a practical point of view, one might say they met very accidentally, it just happened. But I think, if you go deeper, every little thing that Swamiji did, because, ultimately, many of his that messages, whatever he did, whatever he talked about, each resulted in extraordinary dimension for our nation, not only that, going beyond for the world itself. So probably, although it, in one sense, we call it a chance meeting, yet I would like to say it was a divinely ordained, very special occasion where through that, every other thing, why should a person who was normally would have traveled in a lesser class, would have never met him, how at the last minute, the Raja of Khetri arranged that he should travel in a cabin ticket, he would travel comfortably, or whatever it is. So everything very and that's how they could meet, and that's how he could so deeply influence Jamshedji. And today we have this beautiful institution called Institute of Science. Even now it is one of the premier research institutions for country. Thank you very much.
After this talk by Swami Shantatmanji Maharaj, now we have Chief guest, Revered Swami Suviranji Maharaj, General Secretary, Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission. He will give his address.
Namaste Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satche Sukha Sarupaya Swamine Tapoharine. Respected Swami Amrita Rupanandaji Maharaj, the head of our center here at Jamshedpur, Swami Nikhileswaranandaji, and also Swami Shantatmanandaji, both sitting on the dais. One is heading our center at Kanpur, at Rajkot, and the other is the head of our center at Gurugram, Institute of Value Education, VIVEKANANDA Institute of Values. Now, towards the end of his discourse, Swami Shantatmanandaji has raised a very, very pertinent question, and that question is troubling many of us, bothering many of us, and he has given a beautiful answer. What I would like to do is to expand a little what Swami Shantatmanandaji spoke and wanted to make a point. He has, his question precisely is that is it a perchance meeting between two great souls of the world? One was Vivekananda, another was Jamshedji Tata. Now, from a very, very strict secular point of view, rather ordinary point of view, well, I accommodate you when you say that this is a perchance meeting. But when from a higher point of view, we look at this, it can't be perchance, as Shantatmanandaji has rightly said. Now, what happens? We must try to understand a little the eyes of Sri Ramakrishna. Who was Vivekananda? Because the two personas that we find on the stage is Vivekananda and Tata. So Vivekananda is more difficult a phenomenon to be understood much more than Jamshedji Tata. Which is why I would like to say very humbly that if we really want to understand, if we really want to have a glimpse of what we call Vivekananda today, well, we have to go through the vision, the eyes of the great master Sri Ramakrishna. Now, what does Sri Ramakrishna say? Sri Ramakrishna says that Naren is one of the rishis of the Saptarshi. He says Naren is Shivavatar. We find in the great master, beautifully depicted by Swami Sharadanandaji, the saying of Sri Ramakrishna, the narration of Sri Ramakrishna. He says that assuming the form of a small boy, in a flight of ecstasy, very deep ecstasy, I soared higher after higher. And then I found there is a division between the divided zones and the undivided zones. And that is the border where even the gods with small g are scared of crossing. Gradually I crossed that boundary, entered into the undivided zone. I found streams of light, lot of light. And then I entered into this cycle of luminaries, cycle of light, cycle of what you call akhand. So naturally, he found, after getting into the undivided zone, 7 rishis deeply absorbed in meditation, contemplation, in samadhi. He says, this boy went to one of those. The boy clasped the neck of a rishi and affectionately said him, I am going to the earth, you follow me. Rishi saw this boy in the twinkling of an eye and immediately could take cognizance of this boy, because this boy is the emperor of his heart, the Ishta, the Guru, the end all and be all of him. Life hereafter and life here too. And the Rishi gave a something very bright, illumined. Being Narendra today, I can very well recognize the incarnation of Nararishi, Narayan. And when Swami Vivekananda was born, you all know 1863, 12th of January. On the day in the evening, standing on the courtyard of the Dakshideshwar, the old man says, my man Friday has arrived. Somebody asks, how do you know? He says that I saw a streak of light emanating from the body of Vishwanath and touching the ground of the house of Vishwanath Datta. He has come. And that was the day, 1863, 12 January. Now, you know that there is nothing called accident. Everything is incident. Ramakrishna mission, advent of Sri Ramakrishna, advent of Swami Vivekananda is not an accident, it's an incident. It is a historical necessity. It was a historical necessity. And also, along with it, is divine complicity. If we read the great master, you will find amply written there by Swami Saradanandaji. What does he write? He writes, he quotes Ramakrishna. He writes sayings of Sri Ramakrishna in his own way. And he writes, as he heard from Sri Ramakrishna, that after Sri Ramakrishna attained the highest in different religions, then it was Bhavatarini who gave mandate to Sri Ramakrishna. What was the mandate all about? Many mandates. One of these mandates was to stir the wheel of a new dharma. They stirred the wheel of a new dharma. And Swamiji says, this is the new dharma. What is that? He says, I give you a new religion. I give you a new scripture. I give you a new man. And that is why it is a divine complicity. Nothing chance. And I hope you will excuse me if I say it was the outcome of the vision and mission of Sri Ramakrishna, the great master, that these two great minds will go by the same steamer on the same day just to have a talk, because both are destiny makers for future India. So it was a historical requirement. It was a divine complicity. And then, of course, what did Swamiji say? What was precisely the message of Swamiji in that small encounter? One of the cardinal aspects of that message, Swamiji talked about many points, many things, but one of the cardinal aspects of that message was what Swamiji put in a different language later on, in a different context. Western science must be coupled with Eastern Vedanta. He says, Western science must be coupled with Eastern Vedanta. What does it mean? Now, in this particular Swamiji, very difficult. Swamiji himself said that had there been another Vivekananda, he could have understood what this Vivekananda has said or done. So naturally to understand him is very difficult, but even then I must say that we, even as a doer, we want to touch this moon, catch the moon. So let us try a little to understand or approximately understand what Swami Vivekananda meant by this on that day. Swamiji was very, very categorical. The sum and substance of Swamiji's struggle, Swamiji's sleepless nights, Swamiji's life, and more so, Ramakrishna's diktats was this. This is the very precious of what Swamiji lived for, came for. What is? Let us imagine a scenario where in Washington DC, in the busiest street of Washington DC, a young boy is going, well clad, well fed, well educated, and when he is going, he finds some dazzling box lying uncared for beside the street. And when he sees that the box is so dazzling, he goes with great hope. And when he goes there, well, when he opens the box with great hope, what does he find? It is absolutely vacant. There is absolutely nothing inside it. He is dismayed, disappointed. You stretch your imagination to the Orient simultaneously. Maybe in Indian rural scene, a boy going by the regions of a field, absolutely nude or half nude, having no food or little food, very lanky, absolutely illiterate. When he passes by the regions of a field in an Indian village, he finds something dazzling, something glittering, lying uncared for amidst the dust. That boy goes and picks it up. And what is it? Well, this is a pearl. So India has a pearl but doesn't have a dazzling box where it can keep its pearls. And West has a dazzling box, but it doesn't have a pearl to be kept in. That's why Swamiji wanted marriage of the Western science with Eastern Vedanta. This is this. And this is what he told Jamshedji Tata. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. And what was his message to Jamshedji Tata? Jamshedji was enthusiastic for importing matches and, marketing it in India. So I told, what do you do this? You go for business. You are always satisfied with a clerk's job. Education is meant to make clerks for the merchants. You are at best everything of a deputy magistrate's post and nothing more than that. You see the Britishers, they are at the acme of power. They are at the height of power. Manpower, is because they're merchants. So our Indians must go in for trade. And that's how Jamshedji was in the field of steel and so on. Second is what is told is that scientific institute in India. If India wants to rise, it must be very, very with technological power, scientific knowledge. This is what Swamiji wanted Jamshedji Tata to open an institute of science, and you know that Jamshedji Tata did it. He followed Swamiji both verbatim and in spirit, and he started an institute of world class in the form of Institute of Science Bangalore, and we are proud among the first 200 universities, top universities in the world. We don't have any other university from India, only Institute of Science Bangalore, and perhaps that is the gift of Vivekananda through the nation and through Jamshedji Tata. And then later on, when the institute was to come into being, infrastructure was built up, everything was put in place, God was in heaven and everything was right with the world, Tata felt. He wrote a beautiful, lovely letter to Swami Vivekananda. What is that letter all about? If you go to Tata's office, Ratan Tata's office, you will find that letter printed there. He writes, J.R.D. Tata writes, I quote, Dear Swami Vivekananda, I trust you remember me as a fellow traveler on your voyage from Japan to Chicago. I very much recall this at this moment your view of the growth of the ascetic spirit in India and the duty not of destroying but of diverting it into useful channels. I recall these ideas in connection with my scheme of research, Institute of Science for India, of which you have doubtless heard or read. It seems to me that no better use can be made of the ascetic spirit than the establishment of monasteries or residential hell for men dominated by the spirit, where they should live with ordinary decency and devote their lives to the cultivation of science, natural and humanistic. I am of the opinion that if such a crusade in favor of an asceticism of this kind were undertaken by a competent leader, it would greatly help asceticism, science, and the good name of our common country. And I know not who would make a more fitting general of such a campaign. I know not, I repeat, I know not who would make a more fitting general of this campaign, of such a campaign, than Vivekananda. Do you think you would care to apply yourself to the vision of life, our ancient traditions in this respect? Perhaps you had better begin with a fiery pamphlet rousing our people in this matter. Tata writes to Vivekananda, I should cheerfully defray all the expenses of publication. With kind words, I am, dear, or yours faithfully, Jamshedji Tata. Swamiji was invited to become the first director of ISC Bengaluru. Swamiji, anyway, for some other reasons, regretted and didn't go there. Anyway, but Swamiji was very categorical that if we want regeneration of the country, which was top in the priority agenda of Vivekananda, which is why Vivekananda believed that Vedanta must speak in the accent of science, science must speak in the language of human welfare. And that is the sum and substance, the very gist of what Vivekananda lived for. And since, Swami Vivekananda was a prophet, Swami Vivekananda, he has told somewhere that you like or you do not like, in this age, God has made me the leader. He is the prophet for this modern age. You like or you don't like, doesn't matter. So Vivekananda is the prophet. Vivekananda established Ramakrishna mission for 1500 years. And the big, the fire, the ball of fire that was lit in Belur Math, or should I say even in Baranagar Math, later on Alambad, and also settling down at Belur Math. From that great ball of fire, sometimes the sparks go here and there. In 1920, it was through Mr. Mukherjee that a spark of fire from Belur Math came here, and later on became affiliated to Ramakrishna mission formally in 1927. It's a great pleasure for me that Mukherjee's brother, brother's nephew, Shiva Prasad Mukherjee, who was the chief engineer of Border Force, was a very, very close and intimate friend of mine. So I'm proud that I had some association because his uncle was the instrumental, one Mr. Mukherjee. What is the first name of? Upen Mukherjee. So he led the fire first in 1920, which is why the centenary of this great institution was due for 2020, but due to the pandemic we couldn't do it. I think the managing committee of this great institute couldn't do it very well. They are doing it now, nothing wrong in it. And we must congratulate everyone who are associated with this institution. In course of a centenary now, I personally believe that this institution has worked for 200 years, should I say. To agree with me on this score, I personally feel. The kind of expansion, the horizontal and the vertical expansion, both, the kind of increase in quality, the kind of management, taking every point, every aspects into consideration. Well, I must say again, let us repeat that it has completed bicentenary in course of his journey for a centenary. I must congratulate once again everyone associated directly or indirectly with this great institute. And about this institute, everything has been told by the secretary, the head of this great center, my friend Swami Amrita Rupanandaji, and also the president of the management committee here. What I should tell is only two brief things. One is, I do not know how you like at it, how you view at it. An Adivasi girl who is the chief minister of Jharkhand today is an alumni of this institution. Is it not a great feat in scheme of things of Swami Vivekananda, an Adivasi girl heading the state of Jharkhand where Jamshedpur ashram is situated, and she comes from this institution, is something for which we must salute this institution. And then again, I remember, I heard it from Swami Adinathanandaji Maharaj. He used to call himself the last child of Holy Mother and so on. So he told that, look, when I was establishing schools here and there was a negative force in Bihar. At that time it was Bihar. Jharkhand was not carved out. There was a negative force, powerful force, political force. They were against our institution. Then I called them once and I told them that, you set up another school with all the flaws and blemishes that my school has. Beside my school, if you want land, I can arrange for you. And if your school is better than mine, my school will automatically wrap up because no student will again come to my school because this is a bad school. You do it and you need not take extra care to wrap up my school. Automatically my school will die a natural death because yours is a better one. Till today they couldn't do it. And on the other hand, we find unhindered marching forward of this great institute. And this is one of the mega educational complex under Ramakrishna mission. And we are through 125 of Ramakrishna mission. To wrap up, I must thank our Swamiji, Swami Chachiyar, Swami Amritarupanandaji for having kindly remembered me for this excellent occasion and giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my views with you all. And then, of course, I will thank all others connected with this. We have heard very beautiful discourses, 4 discourses. First, to begin with, by the head of the center, Swami Amritarupanandaji, giving the ins and outs of the voyage that they have undertaken during last 100 years, and followed by the board president, the president of its managing committee, a very famous educationist, famous educationist in his right, should I say, Master Mohanty, Professor Mohanty, who also spoke so well. And then, of course, goes without mention that we have heard Nikhileshwaranandaji and also Santatmanandaji, so beautiful, illumined, very, very enjoyable discourses. I must thank all of them too for enlightening us. And last but not the least, I think you allow me, you permit me, because we are just outlived, we have just outlived 125 years of Ramakrishna mission. And what the world thinks about 125 of Ramakrishna mission. I will, without being very elaborate, I will give you 2 or 3 examples. When we were about to wrap up the 125 year of Ramakrishna mission festivals the other day, we got a message from President Draupadi Murmu, who otherwise used to be the governor of this state a few years back. Draupadi Murmu wrote many things by way of paying compliments to Ramakrishna movement, but one thing that she wrote, I must say, that should be mentioned to all of you. You will be happy to know this. She wrote in the very first sentence of the later her communication that Ramakrishna mission is the symbol of integrity. Ramakrishna mission is the symbol of integrity. That's what the President of India wrote. And then, coming to our Prime Minister. Prime Minister unofficially off the record has told, don't take it on record. He told me many times that Swamiji, सारे दुनिया में सबसे ट्रांसपेरेंट एनजीओ अगर कोई है तो उसका नाम है रामकृष्ण मिशन. Or we got later from the government of India asking for our requirement to celebrate the 125 year of Ramakrishna mission. And when we inquired that, we didn't approach the government of India, Indian government of India has told us to find out how they can help us in this venture. Well, when I rang up the PMO, he told that the Prime Minister has told this is an occasion which should be observed befittingly, and government of India should do its might for the success of this grand occasion. And then Prime Minister writes to me. He's on record. He says, Prime Minister says that 125 years of Ramakrishna mission is a milestone in the history of modern India. He's on record. And then Prime Minister went to one of our mart in Chennai where he is again on record by saying that this is the organization which has molded my life. And then, coming to the grand finale, if you agree to agree with me to use this word, the last but not the least, so to say, Mamata Banerjee, West Bengal Chief Minister, she wrote to me that the very first sentence of her letter was, Ramakrishna Mission stands for excellence. Excellence means Ramakrishna Mission. And that's how the leaders of our country view it. And again, going abroad, I will only narrate one small incident which happened maybe 2 decades back or 4 decades back. Not 2 decades, 4 decades. You all know, Swami, monks know, the devotees I am speaking of. You must have heard, many of you, Swami Lokeshwaranandaji's name. And Swami Lokeshwaranandaji went to Vatican, and then he was given the privilege of speaking from Vatican Radio on certain given topic. Pope was so happy. And then when he met Pope, he thought that Pope is the emperor of the minds of so many hearts of so many people, 1/3 of the total population in the world. And Pope may not be knowing our organization, small organization. And when he told that I belong to an order of monks, which is the smallest, the youngest, and the poorest order of monks in the world, then Pope stood up and told Swami, I know everything about you. You belong to Ramakrishna Mission. You belong to Ramakrishna Mission. It's true, you are the smallest, the youngest, and the poorest order of monks in the world, but then you, as on date, you are the most powerful order of monks in the world in the field of spirituality. Which is why this Ramakrishna Mission's branch, Jamshedpur, also shares the glory that Ramakrishna Mission today, after 125 years, are basking in. And I once again pray to our leader, the General of the Militia, to which I am a humble soldier, Swami Vivekananda. Sarve sukhino bhavantu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kaschit dukkha apnuat. Let all be happy, let all be free from ailments, let all be blessed with the vision of truth, beauty, and goodness. Let misery touch none. With these few words, I once again thank profusely our Swami Amrita Rupanandaji for kindly remembering me and giving me this excellent opportunity to be here this lovely morning.
After the address by Revered General Secretary Maharaj, now we have the closing song by Swami Ekavratanji Maharaj.
कि তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা মধুর ঝঙ্কারে মুগ্ধ জগৎ চকিতে গাহে বন্দনা মধুর ঝঙ্কারে মুগ্ধ জগৎ চকিতে গাহে বন্দনা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে মধুর ঝঙ্কারে ললিত ছন্দে গভীর মন্দ্রে পশিল সে তান রন্ধ্রে রন্ধ্রে ললিত ছন্দে গভীর মন্দ্রে পশিল সে তান রন্ধ্রে রন্ধ্রে জাগিল সুপ্ত লুপ্ত গৌরব ভারতবর্ষ দীনা জাগিল সুপ্ত লুপ্ত গৌরব ভারতবর্ষ দীনা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা কে তুমি বাজালে হিমাদ্রি শিখরে জল নিধি রাচে প্রতিছে দিক দিগন্তরে হিমাদ্রি শিখরে জল নিধি তীরে প্রাচে প্রতিছে দিক দিগন্তরে বেদান্ত মহিমা কেবল প্রচারে বর্ণিতে নাহি সীমা বেদান্ত মহিমা কেবল প্রচারে বর্ণিতে নাহি সীমা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে করি গুরু পদে মন প্রাণ সমর্পণ মহাযোগী বেশ করিলে ধারণ করি গুরু পদে মন প্রাণ সমর্পণ মহাযোগী বেশ করিলে ধারণ জ্ঞান ভক্তি যোগ জীব সেবা ব্রত করিলে উদ্দীপনা জ্ঞান ভক্তি যোগ জীব সেবা ব্রত করিলে উদ্দীপনা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে মধুর ঝঙ্কারে মুগ্ধ জগৎ চকিতে গাহে বন্দনা কে তুমি বাজালে নবীন রাগেতে ভারতের প্রাণ বীণা
with this, we come to the close of the morning session. The next session will be held at 2:30. The venue would be Ravindra Kalamandir, which is about 4 kilometers from here in Sakchi. Hence, the lunch prasad is also organized at our ashram at Sakchi. It is called VIVEKANANDA English School. For that, vehicles have been organized where all the sadhus can go to that place. Since it is close to the venue, there itself they can take some rest and then attend the program, which will start at 2:30. We shall meet again at 2:30 at Ravindra Kalamandir in Sakshi.